signal, and there is a blue signal. So this is the green signal here, and the green signal is the macro. The macro needs to have a red line at it. So the blue doesn't, the green does. So here's the green signal here. This is the max buy trade. You can see there's the red line through it. See the fractal edge? And all that is a fractal edge, of course. It's not anything else, guys. It's just purely the same Bill Williams fractal narrative. But because it gives us a level 2, it's a very easy way to just see where the max buy trade is going to be. And you can see what happened to this buy trade. It bottom ticked the market, and we got a very, very good lift away from that price. This is a max green trade as well. You can see there's the red level in the background. There's the buy trade. And again, you can see that that was also a very, very, very nice trade away from that level on max as well. Bearing in mind, this is a 15-second chart. So you can see max bottom ticks it there. Max pretty much bottom ticks it there. And two enormous trades, over $1,000 of upside profits on a contract. So very, very good max trades. As I said, bottom ticking the price there. We had another max buy trade here, which bottom ticked the pullback, and a very, very big profit. And again, the red line in the background is visible. So there's your buy signal, and a very, very good upside trade. Again, you can see that's been 3 out of 3 trades on max that we bottom ticked the pullback. 1, 2, and 3. 3 out of 3 at bottom ticked price, guys. Brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. Here's a blue max trade. We don't need the red in this case. We don't need the red. This is a momentum shifting trade. This should be straight into profit. And you can see we got a very, very nice momentum profit. This one does need the red. So you can see when max came out to play here, the red was away down here. So we had to wait for the price to hit that red line. When the price hits that red line, we're going to start buying max. And the max trade goes, okay, not the best trade in the world, still a profit. Worst case scenario, scratch out the remainder. As we go forward into the afternoon session, there's a blue trigger. We don't need we don't need the red, and this one didn't do very much, but it still gave us 10 ticks and a scratch. This was the worst performer, 10 ticks and a scratch. Then we got a bottom tick price on max here at 8 o'clock. Beautiful, straight up into profits. And then this one here, this was the biggest drawdown we had on max. We had a buy trade here. You can see it took out the red line. That's the buy trade there. Took out the red line, still within the stops that we were using, and a massive upside profit on that buy trade. Look at those two buy trades, guys. Massive upside profits on max there. 15,550 to 15,650. 100 points, $2,000 per contract. $2,000 per contract. Max at the bottom edge here, buy trade. Below the red line when it hits, perfect, that's what we need. Max right at the red line, perfect. So we bottom ticked max at 10 to 9. And what a trade that was. Look at that trade, guys. Boom, straight up into profits. And we don't take these two trades here because it's into the closing bell. And that's us exiting max. Now that last trade, guys, 15,560, 15,720. 160 points. 160 points. Anybody know how much max made in the last 10 minutes of Friday? 160 points of profit. $3,200 per contract in the last 10 minutes. In the last 10 minutes. That is dumbass crazy, isn't it? That is absolutely nuts. But you can see that max has bottom ticked it on just about every single occasion bar one. So max bottom ticked it here, max bottom ticked it here, didn't bottom tick it here, did bottom tick it here. Max did okay here. It was a bottom tick and it kind of went sideways before it scratched out, so nothing much on that one. Bottom ticked it here for a nice bit of profit, bottom ticked it here for a nice bit of profit. So you can start to recognize bottom ticked it here for a nice bit of profit. Bottom ticked it here for profit, bottom ticked it here for profit. So you can start to recognize that we're getting really, really close to the perfect max storyline. So obviously Friday was a bit exceptional because of the volatilities, of course, on Friday. We have to obviously now see how it deals with today's what looks like a lower volatility day, to be fair. So this is going to be a really, really good little test for this. So if I see it in time, I will shout it as it's happening and we'll watch it. together to see how it performs today. Give you a chance to have a look at it. We are hoping to have the indicator for Thursday. It's being worked on this weekend and it was getting worked on this week. So hopefully we'll have an indicator by Thursday and we'll take it from there. We'll take it from that point. So exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. Talking about oil today, about trying to get some scalp trades against some of the oil narratives. Looking interesting. I mean, we've had a lot of good scalps today at tops and bottoms, just using the crack spread literally on its own. We've also talked about Bitcoin. We've had obviously the 70,000 sell was sensational over the weekend. It dropped down to 42,000, guys. Over the weekend, it dropped to 42,000. $30,000 per coin since we called the top line at 70 grand, 69,000. We even gave you a countdown to that 70,000, and we started to have a laugh with Kim about the number of emails that we started to receive about people offering Bitcoin courses again. And since then, we've obviously been short Bitcoin, but we've seen a few opportunities to buy this morning. We sold some Bitcoin actually earlier on at the London Open. Actually, we got some Bitcoin sales into the London Open up here, just at day highs. So we sold some Bitcoin at 49,400, and then we gave a tweet, Kim, a Bitcoin tweet, as it was happening on the right-hand edge of the charts. You'll see here the tweet came out right here. BTC bid watch 5 past 11. 5 past 11 bid watch on Bitcoin 47,300. 5 past 11. Quarter past 11, the price takes off to the upside, straight up to 48,800. 47.3 to 48.8, $1,500 per coin. And that's a reasonable profit if you're trading, $1,500 per coin if you're trading on the futures markets, of course. Pretty good monies, pretty good monies. The NASDAQ, by the way, only works in the US session because it's working round the US values, the market internals for some of the signals. So we don't get max triggers outside of the US session on the NASDAQ, and also the liquidity is so skinny. It's really dreadful. It's really dreadful. So we're in pretty good shape so far today. We're having a good day. So top edge, I think we might go for some top edge Bitcoin sales. I think I'd like to sell some 48.9s, 49,000 if we get a retest at the highs. We've already sent that tweet out as well, which is something you've probably already seen. Yep, BTC closed out at 48.8s, offer watch top line, which we haven't yet had the top line, so we're still watching, still waiting, anticipating a top edge line to trade. So this is where we are just now. So buy side 47,300, out at 48,800, $1,500 profit. Top line possible sell 48.9, 49,000, and we'll see if it changes. Okay, we've been talking about oil and the crack spreads, the crack spread skew and the Brent oil skews. Brilliant signal, by the way. This is always a top-class piece of information that you can get from your oil. And it's about putting two pieces to the jigsaw. This is oil against the crack spread skews. Okay, so this is the crack spread skew here. What you'll notice about the crack spread skew is that obviously there's macro context, micro context, individual candle context against the big picture context. You cannot rely purely on every single little twist and turn on these charts here. You've got to get some context on the bigger picture as well. Sometimes the best way to do this is to look at it on a 5-minute chart, take it down into a 1-minute chart and find the trade. It's a traditional way of doing any type of business like this. So for example, if you start out in a 5-minute chart and you look at the crack spreads, you can start to see where the opportunities are. Well, you can see almost immediately where the opportunities are this morning, or certainly coming into lunchtime here. You can see that there is a lot of these opportunities here. There's an opportunity here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. And then we start developing out some new opportunities here. a little opportunity here, nothing much here, and then we start to the possibility of starting to buy into oil just here. Okay, so we start to recognize on the 5-minute chart what it is we're going to be doing, because bearing in mind, this is a sell trade, this is a sell trade, this is going to be a sell trade opportunity here, and this is going to be a sell trade opportunity here, and this is going to be a buy trade opportunity in here. So obviously you're starting to work out some of those ideas. Now as you drill down into the lower time frames, you start looking inside these areas for those trades. So when you see these as opportunities, you'll be able to see these as opportunities here. So that's a sell trade. You can see the oil topped out and sold off. The oil sold off for 5-10 minutes. The oil topped out and sold off. The oil topped out and sold off. And the oil bought $68 and rallied. That's a $400 rally there, guys. $400. It's not chicken feed. So when we see that, when we see that buy trade in there, for example, what we can now do is we can go into the 1-minute charts and try and find where that goes higher highs. And you can see that inside this little area here, it's quite difficult to know exactly where it is, but that's obviously just made a higher high here. The blue line hasn't. So that's probably the start of that bottom edge buy. So when you look at that on a 1-minute chart, you'll see that that starts to put in the bottom edge buy. It's the start of the bottom edge buy. And you can see that working this into a buy trade here gives you a few ideas about what you should be doing. And sure enough, that captures the bottom edge. And we get a very, very nice 40-tick buy side swing away from that price print. So you're starting to be able to recognize this as a simple concept. You can take it up into the 5-minute charts. You can actually do these trades, by the way, on the 30-minute charts if you were so inclined, if you wanted longer term value. If we do it on a 30-minute chart, take a look and see if you can spot where value is. Well, it's exactly the same process. So if I said to you guys, right, well, there's obviously some real money value here. That's pretty obvious. The concern I've got with that one is the blue line is making a higher high. I like to see that giving us some divergence. So I actually like that trade better in there. As that tops out there, there's obviously some short-term buying opportunities on oil just here. Short-term, because the macro is still bearish. Back down into the bottom edge, the purple line needs to be making a lower low, which it's not. So in terms of that purple line making lower lows, it starts to achieve that objective, and it definitely achieves that objective right there. You can see the blue line is actually going up now. It's diverging off the highs and the lows. That's important, because otherwise you're going to try and fade into a market that's selling off or buy into a market that's rallying aggressively. You need to see that divergence on both sides to be a trade opportunity. As it diverges here, you can start to recognize that this is going to be a buy trade here. And it obviously loses its value quite easily after you've been into that buy trade. Coming down into the bottom edges here, that would obviously be an opportunity to do some business there and there. And as you start to see these evolving, you can start to recognize some pretty sexy little trades. Look at that one. That looks like an absolute cracker right there. Bearing in mind, this is a half-hour chart. Bearing in mind, this is a half-hour chart. So if I'm selling this, I'm buying oil. So these are the kind of trades that you're looking at. You're buying oil here, you're buying oil here. If you're buying the purple line, you're selling oil. So you can see that there hasn't been that many of the other ones. So you can see that there was a sell trade here, there was a sell trade. So that's a buy trade, my mistake. There was a sell trade here, here, and these two bad boys here are both sell trades as well. So this was a short-term buy against the macro here. So when you see those trades, you start looking into those and see if you would have made any money. That's a sell trade. What happened? The price dropped down. Now, bearing in mind this is now a 30-minute chart, we went from 68.70s to a low price of 67.90s. That's an $800 swing on 3 candles. $800, guys. This buy trade here, this goes from 67.90s to a high price of 69s. That's over $1,000 buy side swing. This sell trade here, look at that swing, guys. $69 dropped down to a low of $66.50. $2,500 profit on that sell trade. This buy trade gets stopped out for a loss. This buy trade makes a profit. It is a bottom edge, but it takes a lot of time and effort to work that bottom edge, doesn't it? The first trade doesn't win. The first trade doesn't win, that's okay, that sometimes happens. The second trade does win. And that's obviously the start of the bottom edge that then reverses the market. Top edge sell. Reasonable eventually. The first trade doesn't win, the second trade wins a lot. You can see how that sometimes happens. And then this sell trade here, which is this morning sell, off a price of $68.55, dropped down to a low of $67.95, $600 profit. 30 minutes skew chart, guys. 30-minute skew chart, and it still makes money. And when we look at it against the Brent oil WTI, we can obviously start to add to the quality of some of these signals. Because obviously if the Brent WTI is also skewed, it's not just RBOB that's different, it's also Brent oil that's different. And this adds to the quality of your great signals. So for example, here the orange line is just about to make a new higher high here. That would put you off that trade. That was one of those losing trades. Whereas this one is now diverging on both accounts. And as a result, that's going to be your buy trade right there. And that's the winning trade right there. See how that extra one little filter stops you losing that trade and gives you the perfect buy trade, $65.80, and we get straight up to $68.20. Unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable how easy it can be if you just follow the signals. When you follow the signals, life becomes incredibly powerful for oil traders. There's a brilliant signal right there. Brilliant signal there to start doing some business on that top edge oil. And that was today's top edge, guys. That was today's top line oil trade right there. Macro value. So a lot of people say, yeah, I don't teach the long-term stuff. And I always kind of have a little bit of a giggle at that, because the long-term stuff is just the same as the short-term stuff on a 30-minute or an hour chart. That's all it is. That's all it is, guys. It's not anything different.